What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots Wire. So this would be part 14 to the Rise to Honor walkthrough as far as these pitches that happen. So within these particular fairs, kind of a recap of some of these type phrases that was played earlier within these pitches. First and foremost, going to happen just breaking in the new memory card and pitches like that. So instead of Rise, so kind of the pitch as far as saying this might be more of an emptier type episode. The complex like content for like something to discuss amongst these fairs is not coming to me within these pitches. So this might be more of a boredom type one, but it's kind of pitch. That's the reality about some of this particular type playthrough, is just the pitch as far as saying this is a particular type game within the pitch. Not to say like that, but it's kind of aspect of just recognizing that the fair behind like the aspect of like the usual deaths type within the fray about this. There's a lot of repetition that goes on here, and I think this should be like a highlight to kind of showcase as like a testament to this game within these pitches as far as saying just within the product now. I think it was kind of exacerbated on top of that with just the pitch of like the memory card deleting this file, which still just for folks who are diving into this particular episode brand new pitch like that, it's kind of fairs that I got pretty far. I pretty much fought like about 5 or 6 boss characters within this game up to about part 10, and then the memory card that had the save file got corrupted. But the fair about it was just the pitch for us saying that the memory card, this was the only game that really got corrupted, so I can't figure it out. The game works just fine, fairs like that, so it's kind of pitch. I don't know what combination. It was just kind of the stupidest kind of endeavor to have like this particular game and the memory card not add up within those pitches. Just didn't make sense. But it's the fair as far as saying, so going through it again, but just the aspect, some of the repetition about this game is just kind of fair as far as saying, just paying attention towards it here, of just looking after. I suspect when we do get, if you're seeing this within the particular fair and you remember the ones from 2023 and 2024 pitch like that, some of those type pitches, I would kind of say within the product that, you know, the aspect, the fair about it is it's going to be kind of aimless conversations here, pitches like that. It's kind of the fair. It's not really any designated. I mean, it's not like there won't be in future ones, but it's kind of pitches as far as saying it's just extracurricular within the sense of pitches in terms of just like steadfast typeness. I probably would say within these pitches, not a super ton of folks who kind of go back through the game a second time with some of these type pitches as far as like the fairs. It's kind of like more or less new type fair within these pitches, but it's kind of product as far as saying just the aspect of I mean, it's a fun game. It's just the pitch as far as saying it's kind of probably, it has like that addictive but kind of annoying type factor about it. It's not to say annoying in terms of like the pitch, but the aspect as far as saying it's just one of those type games that's going to piss you off probably. I don't know if I talk about this within certain aspects like earlier episodes and like the first 10 I did back in those days. But yeah, just to say we've got these previous 4 episodes, this episodes 11 through 14 have been these pitches just getting back towards the fray. So kind of the pitch, there's a boss fire there was in the previous episode. They ran off some of the pitches, so there's getting ready to be another one, which is kind of the pitch. I remember getting stuck on this particular area that's getting ready to come up as far as these pitches going to happen, as far as like the pitch of just like particular within the aspect. You do have to use like the counterattack type mode, and the fair about this game is when I take these interval type breaks amongst this, it's kind of fair as far as saying that the product kind of amongst it just deals with like, you have to remember the movesets. It kind of assumes that you're going to be playing this like maybe not in full-blown one type sitting, but kind of the pitches. Yeah, I question how folks kind of remember that fray. It just felt like it was probably a little bit easier to remember back in like 2004 and 2005. Some of those pitches amongst it, just being able to say within those aspects that things just kind of retain some of those aspects of the tone. It's just kind of pitch as far as saying these instructions are not going to as complex pop up seemingly later on. So it's kind of pitch. You just have to remember some of these type of aspects with the tone and the pitch behind it. It's kind of variety. This particular game is kind of a persnickety type game. Pitch like that. This is one aspect that I almost canceled this playthrough back in like 2022. Pitch like that. I don't know if I said this in like the 2023 videos, but the pitch behind it when I was checking this up on like game facts and some stuff pitches, really none of those. I mean, there's not super tons of like complexes that really give like the tips as far. You have to kind of know how to play this game a little bit to know the counterattack. It just basically tells you to use the counterattack. Now, there was eventually one folk, but then like if you pay attention to like the game facts, which is frequently asked questions, it's one of those websites. One of those particular type websites within the pitch that was kind of for older heads. It was kind of the website to kind of have within those pitches before like the complex, the YouTube pitches like that. So it's kind of the only type shit before you had like those products that just like internet type fair and pitches like that to kind of figure out what to do with some of the pitches. This kind of products similar. There's those particular type days. This pitches as far as paying attention to like the variety kind of amongst it is just not within the aspect as far as just knowing like the variety about some of these type things. It's kind of pitch, and you know most of these folks that play this game is decent. decently popular enough with like the pitch, but there's not really too many tutorial type ones. I was kind of one of the, at least back in 2021 when I kicked off this playthrough, it was kind of pissed that there weren't a super ton. I mean, it's been 5 years now with these pitches since I started this, but this kind of pitch as far as saying some of these type of complexes around that particular time there weren't a super ton of folks really saying this is what you have to do to be able to initiate light. I mean, it's not, the controls are not that meticulous, like model ship type meticulous in the aspects as far as figuring out, but it's this kind of pitch that if you don't know or if you've forgotten, it's kind of fair at least back up to those stages, kind of like a screw it type facet pitch like that. But it's kind of bright as far as saying pitch like that, so it's kind of fair, but it's going to be the complex just dealing with this. I suspect that probably likely every boss character is going to have some degree of like a fashion with this sort of thing, just in pitch as far as saying it's based upon the product that usually they have like some sort of quirk. I mean, it makes sense just because it's simple to like the product to this. Whether or not you just would wail on them the whole time, that would be the whole concept within those pitches. It has to have the counter product of at least having some sort of rhythm towards it. But this the pitch as far as that's the aspect here. But even like these enemy characters are getting towards that. You can run out of like counterattack type energy as far as those pros can have, so it's kind of pitch you have to let them attack a little bit and get some normal attacks in pitch like that. I don't know which, maybe the red bar, maybe the blue bar, not as full bunch here, but it's just pitch like that as far as those pros can have. The adrenaline type meter within those pitches, just extra shit to pay attention towards pitch like that. But some of these type of appeals, just looking after some of these stuff right. So on the music side of things, just on top of that, folks, if you're fucking with this channel and this particular video, you just found me here pitch like that. As far as saying, I do have a music reviews channel where I do routine kind of aspects like music critique and pairs like that. So plenty of those type pitches, just similar type facets to this particular game. This kind of feels like something within a pitch that it's kind of unfortunate that they didn't do another of these type games, like Cradles to the Grave, that particular movie. That's a real classic movie that had DMX in it as well. Now, within the likelihood, within the then the aspects like those fairs, I mean, at least back in those days, that would have been the shit as far as getting some of those type fairs. You probably could have had DMX to throw in like a couple hit songs. He probably would have done it too. I would have said if DMX would have had that fair about a video game type product within some stuff pitched amongst it, would have been the pitch part. That would have been some bonafide type stuff, but some excellent. They never really did further offshoots to like Jet Li type fair, which is unfortunate because he was kind of in like his second win kind of problem. I mean, for folks who don't as full bound know, Jet Li actually is past his 60s within these fairs kind of pitch. I mean, he had been making movies, at least I don't know if it's Hong Kong or full bound type particular, but he had been making movies since at least like possibly even the 80s or not. I mean, at least the 90s within pitch like that. He's a little bit younger than Jackie Chan, but it's this kind of pitch as far as saying this is the product that he had been doing movies for quite some time. So he was like 40 when this came out in 2004 and stuff. So it's kind of pitch as far as those fairs got, but this pitch as far as some of those stuff fairs definitely should have been a Cradle to the Grave game. Would have been ballistic kind of two-player type one to something like Final Fight and like the Warriors type games. And this, especially if they would have kept like the controls for this particular game and had like a two-player type one, that would have been a real good aspect just to have those fairs. Just taking this particular game and then having like a two-player type aspect within it probably would have made this a lot easier just to pitch. Now, realizing running from like the helicopter, some of those type fairs, but they need to normalize like the concept of having like two-player video games where you can't play as two players the whole way through. It'd be kind of the pitch as far as saying, player 2 shows up in like stage 3 and stage 6 or something like that, stage 7, but stage 4 and 5 you have to do without player 2 because you have to fuck around and run from a helicopter or something like that. I mean, this would be the pitch as far as saying this kind of pseudo kind of cooperative pitch like that. So it'd be a good, nice pitch. I mean, obviously it's 20 years ago with these pitch not having those phrases amongst it, but that would be some good, nice pitch kind of get towards some of that, just having those aspects. Like this particular scene right here, having to run from some of these type of, I guess this isn't it, but there's a point where I don't know if I've got to, if I did that in the previous episode, but you do eventually have to run from a helicopter and dodge the bullets, fairs like that, some pitches like that. This might be it right here as far as these pitches go. But yeah, just the fair as far as saying this would be kind of difficult for two players for the most part, but it'd be kind of pitch as far as saying, yeah, just shit like that as far as this kind. But yeah, just pay attention towards it. More mixtape reviews, so check out the main Asterisk channel pitch like that, playing these type ballistic type ones. There's plenty of folks I just review on the regular pitch like that. That are probably pretty uncommon. Yeah, just good fairs here as far as these pitches can happen. Subscribe for more fun. Stay tuned for more of these. Got to get more gameplay for this particular fair kind of going. But it's good excellent pitch as far as these products can happen. Definitely some ballisticness I'd easily kind of say within these products here.